How's everyone doing today? Living the dream, right? One day at a time. This is what I try to tell myself. Adrian, you half awake? Girl, it feels like it's about the 10th Sunday of the week. So, or Friday, I don't know. Yeah, it's been crazy. Like, yeah, it's just been, this week's already kicked my butt, and it's only Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're there for whenever you're ready for them. I mean, they're just you're not necessarily required to watch them. I think that they are hopefully helpful, but it's not required that you watch them. It's required that I make them. So I would like it if you guys watched them, but you know. Ah, mhm, mhm. That's great. Mhm. Yeah. And midterm is next week, right? So, yes. Yeah. Yes, you do. So, yeah, like I said, I'm trying to be as forgiving as I can with dates, but we still do have to keep on time because the only reason I get a little gun shy about this is because I had a student once, and this is none of you, so please don't ever like internalize this. But I was lenient with due dates, and it was midterm, and they had only turned in like two assignments out of like 50. And then they're like, "Oh, well, I can turn them all in." I was like, "Okay, dude, I'll cut you a break." I said, "Sure, you have 1 week to get everything caught up." And again, he turned in one episode or one thing, and he ended up dropping the class just because he wasn't like um he never engaged. So just don't let that happen. The midterm is going to be a final date. Like it will be open from um next, what is it, Monday through Sunday or whatever. So I don't know. I'll tell you guys what day. I have to think for a second. So hold on. So who are we missing? Um Samantha. uh, Did Wendy make it? Yeah. All right, we're still missing two people. That's okay. They can pop in. Okay, so yeah, housekeeping. How is everything going? Yeah, I mean, and that's what I make the videos off. So I mean, it's me talking about the PowerPoints and adding some stories and trying to pull a couple things together. So that's all the PowerPoints are. And then I think like I said, I pointed out last week that the worked problems slides are also in the modules. And I think that those would be very helpful because then you can, break things down and work along so that when we get to today, you're not like, what is she doing? So, um, yeah, there's that. And is it Daniel? I have not forgotten about that video that I told you I was gonna be made about solving that equation differently. And I think it's just a matter of what you did first and how it flip-flopped. I haven't forgotten about it. I just literally have not had the time to do it, and I'm really sorry, but life's been a little insane right now. So I haven't blown you off. I have not forgotten. I've lost sleep about it. I promise you I will. Well, if I promise you something, I don't want you to think that I promise it and then blow it off. So I really do. I do uh, plan to do that. Okay, so next week on the schedule, it's just the midterm. And so what I was thinking of doing is I'm gonna make the midterm this week and I'm gonna try to pull the questions from like the quizzes that you've already taken in the Mastering Chemistry, because I think that those are fair questions. And from what I've heard back, I think who was it? Mariah posted in the chat the discussion, and AI kind of let the discussion board fall off, so that's my bad, but that's okay. We have enough things to worry about in life, so let's just say post questions there when you have them, and it's not going to be a requirement. But Mariah gave some input that the quizzes are still hard, which they're supposed to be, but they're good because they give you the feedback and they help you learn how to solve, any of them that you did miss, and they give you multiple attempts. So I think for next week, yeah, really? Interesting, because when I picked the questions, I specifically picked the ones that would give you feedback and they would give you hints along the way. So I'll go back in there and double check to make sure something wasn't changed. Thank you for telling me that because I wanted to make it a learning experience, not a punishment experience. And so I will go in there and try to see what I can do to change those because when I go through the questions to pick up, it lets you filter by with feedback, with hints and stuff like that, and the difficulty of the questions. And so I select questions that are between 1 and 3 in difficulty, maybe 1 4, the top is 5, but I don't want to make you guys work on one problem for a half an hour. It tells me the time that the test should take, and usually I try to keep them around 30 minutes. So I'll go back in there and double check the settings, but yeah, keep letting me know because when I set it up, it's set up one way and apparently it's not being um given to you guys that way. So hmm. And that's from the mastering chemistry part, not the stuff that I make. So that's stuff that I can't override necessarily, but that's good to know because they want you to like have almost like a lab hands-on experience. And so those are like the parts that are required for me to put in, but the quizzes themselves are the ones that yeah, Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, well, we all have enough stress in our life right now with COVID and everything, and biochem is a hard class, and I know that. But like I said, I don't want to have this class torture you. I want you to learn and, you know, pass without being scarred for life from biochem. So, I'll keep working with you, and like I said, I'll look into some of those settings and see if I can change them up, and just keep letting me know because I can only see what's on my end, not what's on your end, unless you guys tell me. Okay. So, I will go in right after this class and pop around and see what I can find. Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Okay. So, chapter 10. So, yeah, this chapter, I mean, there were still some questions that were pretty hard, not gonna lie, but overall, I think that they're better, like the pH scale, we've all learned about the pH scale by now, and they taught it slightly different in this class, like in my other biochem class that I teach it with just how many hydrogens we have, and this one they do that, but then they have the other formulas on it too. So it was kind of interesting to learn a little bit more about the different ways that people can do it. Now, I will remind you, I can't see the chat now. So if you do have a question, please come up. So yeah, here we go. So for the first question about the Bronston-Lowry acid being a proton donor, so which of the following is not a Bronston-Lowry acid? And so, for this question, make sure that the not is that you're seeing the not. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not sharing my screen. Lovely. Sometimes, you guys, I don't know how I get by in life. Hold on. I'll do this, and I want to present the entire screen. Sorry about that. Yes. Ta-da! There. Is that better? All right, cool. Thanks. What do you guys think? The answer is actually D, because the OH, or the hydroxide, can accept the proton to form water. All right, so if we remember, the Bronston-Lowry acid is going to donate the hydrogen, where the bases are going to accept the hydrogen. So it's asking for which one is not the Bronston-Lowry acid. So if we look at HBr, and like I said, you really have to kind of depend on your book for all of the charts and everything for this one. Um, at least I had to. So HBr is going to turn into Br minus by just losing the H plus. Well, that does not make it a Bronston acid, right? So this NH4 plus is basic because the nitrogen has a lone pair that's able to accept the protons, and then H3PO4 is a strong acid with a conjugative base that's a weak acid of itself. So all of those would be Bronston-Lowry acids, which means that the last one, CaOH2, is not, because the OH accepts that proton, right, to form from the acid to be able to form water. Okay. All right. What about this guy? As you can see, these are my scribbles of trying to figure this one out. It's so much fun. Um, Key tip for this one is to look at the chart, figure 10.3, on the strength of the acid. And then it's not so hard. I tried to do all these calculations and all this stuff, but if you look at that chart in 10.3, so that would be on page 331. I need a bigger desk. Stacked on top of each other. Yes, it is. It is A. So if you look at that chart, um, the HCl is going to be strong, a strong acid. So where's my little deal? So HCl is strong. H2SO4 is strong, where HNO2 equals weak. And then this is asking about a weak acid. Okay. And so just by deductive reasoning, instead of doing all the calculations and stuff, you can do that too, because this is strong, strong, and strong. Okay. Good job. All right. This guy. Now, I have to personally go out and get a scientific calculator because my phone won't do this for me. So I have the steps to push, but I wasn't able to do them myself. Do you guys have a like T? Well, I don't even know what T's are on now. The T94 or whatever those scientific calculators are. You guys all have one. So how do you guys do these calculations if you don't have one? Just curious. Okay. Well, maybe I'll do that because I don't really want to go spend $200 on a calculator. I think I might still have mine from college, but that was like over 20 years ago. Oh my God. But I really do like this book on how they tell you exactly what to push in. I do that. I like that a lot. How's everyone doing? How's it going? Okay. We need more time? No? Okay. So yeah, so then here you go. So the formula that we're going to be using for this one is Kw equals H3O plus times OH minus, and then if we rearrange that to solve for OH, where'd my pen go? Right here. OH is going to be Kw over H3O plus. And so when we plug in the formulas, then, or the data, then we end up getting 1.0 times 10 to the minus 14 over 6.1 times 10 to the minus 4. 1 divided by 6.1 is 0.1639. If we figure out minus 14 plus minus 4, then that ends up giving you a minus 10. And then that means that we get to change the decimal points by 1 to make this a whole number. So then that ends up giving you 1.6 times 10 to the 9 minus 11. All right. This one, don't overthink. This one's a straight up easy question. All right. So our pH scale, right? Oh wow, it's really raining outside. I got my walk in earlier today, thankfully. Did get caught in the rain a little bit, but that's okay. So if we have, let's see, we'll do acidic. Acid is 0 to 7. Neutral is 7. And then basic is 7 and above. So I think it's like to what, 14 or 16? Yeah, exactly. So basic is, hold on a second. I want to finish writing this out. Is 7 plus. All right, so and our physiologic normal is right around 7.45 for our blood, just to let you know. All right, so then vinegar with a pH of 2.8 would be acidic. With a pH of 5.7, that's below 7, so that would be acidic. 3.9, that's below 7, so that would be acidic. So yeah, the only one that's basic is going to be the blood, which is 7.38. So basic can also be called alkaline. Okay, so sometimes you'll see that where instead of saying basic, it'll say alkaline. And so like the big thing right now is to drink alkaline water, which is slightly basic water, but your stomach neutralizes it anyway. So whatever. If you want to spend your money, go for it. But yes, so this one, the one that's not acidic, look for the one that's higher than 7. And so in my other biochem class, and you guys can laugh at me, that's okay, but I remember that people back in the day used to drop acid. So the acidic numbers are the lower ones because they're dropping below 7. Okay, so that's just if you ever have a hard time remembering which is acidic and basic, then you can kind of use that as a silly trick to do that. But yes, blood would be that one. Yeah. Yay, you guys laughed at one of my jokes. Yay. So, yeah, it goes on and people freebase and get high. So basic is higher. So I mean, I teach the Bohr effect, and that has a lot to do with pH. So anyway, okay. So now moving on to buffer systems. All right, buffers require a weak acid and a salt containing its conjugate base. Okay, so let's look at these guys and tell me which ones you think. And thank you for laughing. You just made my day. Sorry. Easily entertained. So does that mean you guys are done if you're staring at the camera or you were looking at the question? You guys are so not in this today. That's okay. Okay, so again, buffers require a weak acid and a salt containing its conjugate base. So for A, NaOH is a base, and NaOH and NaCl, it's not a buffer because we need a strong base and a salt. For B, both of them are salts, so that can't work. C is your correct answer because HF is a weak acid and KF is a salt. So when we mix them together, that would be a buffer. And then for D, CaOH is a strong base. And so that doesn't follow the definition of a weak acid. So the correct answer again would be C. Alrighty. Yes, you are correct. B is correct. So give me a sec here. Base. How did you get to that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. So that's exactly it, right? So basically, B didn't lose a hydrogen, it lost an oxygen, where the other ones lost a hydrogen. Okay, and it was asking for not. So yeah, because the definition again is when we donate a hydrogen. And so this is losing a hydrogen, right? This one's losing a hydrogen. This one's losing a hydrogen. And this one's not because the hydrogen's the same, but we lost an oxygen, right? Fantastic. Right, good job. All right. Which of the following is a weak nitrous acid? So use that little chart again. Yep, because that's the one that's weak. Okay, so they're asking for the weak. And then, there's a way that basically if you lose those hydrogens, you're going down to the weaker. So that there was like a something I read about that's kind of a trick to figure it out, but I didn't learn that rule well enough to tell you guys all of it. But yes, so use that chart, and it says the peroxynitric acid is very strong, the nitric acid was very strong, the nitrous acid was weak, and then this nitroxyl is a gas intermediate. Good. Isn't biochem so much fun, you guys? This one's actually C. So if you look at, well, I want to listen to your reasoning, so you go ahead. Yeah, yeah, right. But I think what's happening here is this guy's getting split to the sodium and the HCl3, where the hydrogen, hydrochloric acid, is losing that hydrogen, which would then make it um that base, right? Because this one's actually losing it. Yeah. So I know exactly what you were thinking because yeah, I would agree with you. But since the definition of it is, asking who lost it and who gained it, then that would make it be the HCl. That hydrogen's lost. Yeah. But love it. Thank you for participating. All right. Good, good, good. All right. Again, um, use that list of the strong acids. I think again that was at 10-2, right? So on page 331. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Yep. Good job. It is HBr because um HNO3 is nitrous acid and that's weak on the list. H3PO4 is phosphoric acid and that's weak on the list. And then HCN is hydrocyanic acid and that is weak on that list. So yes, the only one that's strong is HBr or hydrobromic acid. All right, good job. All right, back to calculations. You guys love calculations. straightforward. Or your fancy phone that has the formulas in it. Mine. Ah, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, so basically, the H3O plus is your conjugate acid, the OH is your conjugate base. The values for each of those are 1.0 times 10 to the minus 7 to figure out what Kw is, the standard value. That would make it times those together, 1.0 times 10 to the minus 14. So Kw is the water dissociation expression, and the formula to solve it is the H3O plus times OH minus. So since we're solving for the H3O plus, because it's asking us that in the question, that's where we're getting that from. We rearrange the formula so that the H3O plus is Kw over the OH, right? I think I put an extra line in there. Oh, it was OH plus. That's right. Anyway, and then you plug in those numbers and make sure that you balance it out for your sig figs, and you end up getting answer C. Okay. Okay. So I think that's, I don't know, you guys can. All right, so cool. All right. Almost the last one question, guys. Two more. All right, so there you go. So this one, again, you're just going to use the formula and plug it in. So pH is the negative log of H3O plus. And so if we're solving for the pH, then we do the negative log of what was given to us in the question, which is 6.7 times 10 to the minus 8 molar. Plug those in and get your fancy little calculator to spit it out, adjust for sig figs if we need to, and you end up getting the answer of A, which is 7.17. Okay, and last question. So this one, try not to get lost in data and numbers, just think, and it's like, oh, yeah, totally get it. So this one, there's actually, yep, exactly, two answers. So D would be both C and E. All right, so good. Yeah, because if we increase, so it says according to the principle, which I said up here, the principle is when a stress is placed on a system and at an equilibrium, then the system shifts to release that stress. So if we have this here and we increase the amount of oxygen in the blood, so here we'd increase this, then that would mean that we would have to increase the amount of oxyhemoglobin, right? And then also we would have a decrease in the amount of hemoglobin in the blood so that it equals out. All right, so good. It is both C and D. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Um, all right, so yeah, so good job, you guys. Do you have any questions about any of that? And like seriously, with just reality check, how are we doing with this content? I know biochem's hard, but are we clunking along and doing okay? Okay. All right. Is there anything else? Okay. Cool. Mhm. Yeah. And now that you know that going into it though, that will help you so that you can make sure that you don't get overwhelmed, A good app for what? Oh, yeah, what apps do you guys use on your phone? What's the name of it? Who uses their phone versus a calculator? That would be great. Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, yeah. I know, like even like with the way that the calculator is, like I have an iPhone and like if you bring it up and you like turn it to the side, I know that a lot more stuff comes up. Yeah, so like this is normal, and then if you turn it to the side, it comes up. But like I still couldn't get the buttons to click correctly. Kept giving me an error when I was trying to do the logs and stuff like that. But I think it's just a matter of I didn't put the parentheses in right. But yeah, flip it to the side, and then you have a more extensive, and it has the log and the sign and it has the buttons that it was asking for, but it just I couldn't personally get it to work. But I ran out of patience too. Yeah, yeah. So try to figure it out before the test next week, because that would kind of stink to not be able to answer questions. So anyway, yeah. Okay. So I will go ahead and make the fine or the midterm open from Sunday to Sunday. So I mean, technically, you could take it before we have class next week if you want to. So class next week, I guess, will be optional, but I will make like a Quizlet or something of the questions. So I would encourage you to come to class still because it'll be a good overview and with more than likely questions that you'll see on your midterm. So I would recommend coming, but if you apparently don't want to, then that's your prerogative for next week. But yeah, just really try to work very hard this week to get caught up on all of those mastering chemistries and, redo them if you want to because, that's good practice for the midterm. Okay. All right. Are there any questions about anything? Any other housekeepings that we need to take care of? No? Okay. So this week, no videos from me. You don't have to watch my smiling face making YouTube videos. And we're halfway through, you guys. Can you believe that already? Time's like going so fast. So anyway, all right. Well, I will get this recording up as soon as it is published. And if you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. And like I said, I'll make a Quizlet of the questions, some of the questions at least, and we can do a review about them, and maybe I'll walk through and solve a couple of them with you, etc. Just so I would recommend coming next week. So, all right. So sound like a plan? Great. Yeah, no worries. All right. See you guys later. Bye. Bye.